Hi, I'm AJ Hoge, the author of Effortless English. Learn to speak English like a native. Hey, we're going to talk about the big picture today. This is a fun part of setting goals. It's a fun part of finding and choosing your New Year's resolutions is this first step of just dreaming. Really, it's just dreaming like when you're a kid. You're just using your imagination to imagine. Oh, what do I want to do? What do I want to be? What direction do I want to go in my life? What experiences do I want to have? What emotions do I want to feel normally? What do I want my day, my typical day, my normal day to be like? What do I want my life to be like? And you can just dream. There's no limits on your imagination. So it's quite a fun part of this process. Now, for some reason, we call these New Year's resolutions. That's the phrase you will see in the word resolution. You'll see that word used a lot by native speakers, Americans, and I guess in the UK. I'm not really sure, actually, but certainly in North America. New Year's resolutions. Resolution is just, it's a word that means, it's really kind of like a decision, a strong decision. A strong choice. And a New Year's resolution, then, it's your decisions for the new year. In other words, it's your goals, right? Your strong goals. The noun is to resolve, to resolve. And often we'll say to resolve to do something, right? I resolve to lose weight. Right? I decide to lose weight. I commit to losing weight. So New Year's resolutions, New Year's decisions, New Year's goals. A lot of people make New Year's resolutions, and I think most people don't achieve them. So that's the problem. So as we talk about them, I want you to choose some great New Year's resolutions for 2019, but I want you to achieve most of them, or at least some of them. And I definitely want you to make improvements with all of them, with all those areas of your life. So let's talk about the different areas of life. And today we're just going to dream. Now, there are other steps for making good goals. You can make specific things and measurable and small steps, all of that. But today, the first step, the most fun probably for a lot of people, is just the dreaming step. And this is where you just sit down or stand if you want. And just imagine. Let your imagination go crazy. Have fun with it. This should feel enjoyable. It should feel exciting and enjoyable. An important part of this is when you use your imagination to dream about your goals, to dream about what you want for your life in different areas of your life. You've got to use three things. I talk about this in my book. This is basic NLP. It's a kind of psychology. But you want to use visual, right? It means seeing in your mind, right? What you see, the pictures or the movies. You want to use audio, so the sounds. And then you want to use what's called kinesthetic, which just means the feelings in your body. So when you dream of a big goal, something you want to do or accomplish or experience, when you are imagining it in your mind, you close your eyes and you imagine it. First, you want to see it, and you want to see it in your mind as a big picture. It's not small, not dark, but big and bright and colorful, very large, a very realistic picture in your mind of what it is you want to do or create. And then you want to add some sound. Again, imagining it's a movie, you want to add sound, so you want to hear what's happening. And then you want to create feelings in your body. Often you'll create feelings of excitement or happiness or enthusiasm about this goal. When you put them all together, then you create a very strong dream or image or movie in your mind. It makes it much more powerful than just saying it, I want to lose weight. Okay? A lot of people do that when they make a New Year's resolution. I want to lose weight. They might be even specific. I want to lose 20 kilos. That's okay, but like there's no excitement, there's no emotion in that, right? Much better, it's fine, that's fine to have a specific goal like that, that's okay. But for the dream part, which we're doing now, this first step, you want to create a lot of emotion and energy with it. So you would actually, the visual part, what would you do? Well, imagine looking in the mirror in the future, next year, end of next year. Looking at yourself in the mirror and imagine a very clear image, like a picture in your mind of what your body will look like when you lose 20 kilos. And should, hopefully, imagine something that looks great. You're like, yeah, I look good, right? As you look in the mirror, you're looking really good. See that clearly. Make it a big picture in your mind, not small, big. Make it nice and bright and cheerful looking. Make sure it's a color picture, not black and white when you imagine it. And you create that nice, big, colorful picture in your mind, looking great. You're looking in the mirror at yourself and you look fantastic. You look how you want to look. That's your big dream for, your physical goal. Losing weight or fitness or something. If you're a man, maybe you got nice muscles. Whatever it is. If maybe sometimes like women like to imagine themselves, looking great in some clothing. Maybe there's a dress that looks really great, but it's too small for you now. And so you're looking in the mirror and you're wearing that dress and you look fantastic. Right? Whatever it is, it doesn't matter, but the key is to make that nice, clear, exciting image. And then you can add some sound to it, right? You can add some sound. That's when you say, I look great, right? Maybe it's a statement you're saying, but you say it in your mind with your voice. You say it in a strong and powerful, confident way, in an excited way. So you're not just saying, I want to lose 20 kilograms. That's terrible, right? The sound needs to be powerful and enthusiastic. I will or I am losing 20 kilograms. I look great. I look fantastic. And you got that strong, powerful, excited voice. That's the audio part. And then what's called the kinesthetic. Kinesthetic just means kind of physical, related to your body, feeling. For that part, then, as you imagine the picture and as you say those words with that strong energy, you want to create inside of you energy, a feeling of excitement. Now, sometimes you can do this by just smiling. That'll create kind of a nice feeling inside of you. Sometimes you might have to actually just jump around and make yourself feel excited to get that physical energy going, that feeling in your body, right? Do whatever you need to do, but create that great positive feeling in your body. At the same time, you say those words with the strong, powerful voice. At the same time, as you imagine that great picture or movie in your mind. You're combining those all together, and you're creating this amazing dream now. It's better than a movie because it has great image, great sound, and the feelings, the emotional part too, all together. That creates a lot of emotional energy and excitement about your dream. It makes it so much more powerful, so much more inspiring. Why is that important? Because you need that energy, right? Well, especially when you're dreaming big. You're dreaming about something that seems so exciting and so fantastic. But at the same time, those dreams can be difficult, right? Well, let's say, losing 20 kilograms. Oh, maybe you've been lazy this last year. Maybe the idea of exercising every day, it seems tough. Maybe you will need a lot of effort to get started exercising and eating better. Well, that effort requires energy. We've talked before that often with your goals in life and those big things you want, especially those big dreams, speaking English fluently and powerfully like a native, traveling the world, financial freedom, starting your own business, learning public speaking, being in great physical shape, running a marathon, or going on a super long hiking trip, or getting really strong, whatever. It requires energy to do that, right? Especially if you're starting at a low level. If right now your body is weak and fat, and you want to look great and feel great, just sometimes getting started is the hardest part, right? It's those first few steps. They seem so difficult. That goal seems so far away, and you're like, So you need energy to get started. If you're not excited when you begin, if you're not enthusiastic, it's very tough to take the first few steps. So that's why you've got to create this powerful dream, the powerful image, the sounds, the sights, the feelings and emotions, because that creates that energy inside of you, the enthusiasm, the excitement, the inspiration. And that energy is going to move you forward. You use that energy then to take action. Because, of course, if you just dream, that's not enough. Not enough at all. But when you dream, get very, very, very excited, and then you use that energy, you put that energy into your actions, that's powerful. That's very powerful. That's the way to do it. So that's what I want you to do as you do this exercise that we're doing today. I want you to do it with a lot of emotional power, okay? So you really have to use your mind. You're the director of your own mind. That's how I describe it in my book. So you're creating those images and movies in your mind. You're imagining the sights. You're creating the sounds and the feelings. You're doing all three, and you're combining them together to make this dream of yours very, very, very powerful in your mind. I'll give you an example of this. This is, by the way, this is what Stephen Covey's talking about. He talked about in the last chapter we did. He talked about how, everything is created twice. What he meant was that, the first creation happens in our minds, in our imagination. And then the second creation is when we create something in the outside world, the real world. Now that might be something physical, like if you're building a house. First, you imagine the house in your mind. You see it in your mind. What do you want it to look like? Will it be wood? Will it be stone? Big, small? Right? And you plan it out in your mind. Maybe you draw it on a piece of paper. You're creating it mentally first. Then you build it in the real world and you make the actual real house. The first creation is mental, created in your mind. And then the second creation is when you take what's in your mind and you make it happen in the outside world. Well, it's the same with goals. It's the same idea. Even though a goal might not be physical, it's still the same idea. You create it in your mind. You see it exactly what it is you want to happen, and you create it mentally in your mind very clearly and powerfully. Then the next creation, then you make it happen in the real world, and you make it reality. And a good way to do this, I'd say probably a common way to do this, is to just divide your life into some different areas, right? To look at the different main areas, parts of your life, and for each of those areas, decide, what do you want? What do you want to create? What's your dream for that area of your life? Let's talk about some of these areas. Number one, your character. We've been talking about character a lot because of the book. So think about that. Your character, right? Those deep, important values, spiritual or even religious values, being a better person. We can all improve in this area, so let yourself imagine and dream, about the kind of person you'd like to be. More patient, more generous, more kind, wiser, stronger, whatever. More courageous. Dream about it. Think about it. Just let your imagination go, and as you dream, make the visions and the sounds and the feelings stronger and stronger and stronger until you get a nice clear vision and dream about the kind of character you want to develop to create inside yourself in 2019. That's a good one to start with because you're starting right at the center, right at what's most important, the deepest part. It's a good one to start with. Now, next I recommend physically. Your body, inside and out. That's a good one. We can all improve in that area too. So, what do you want your body to look like? How do you want your body to feel? And also function. What do you want to do with your body or be able to do with your body? All of those together. Start dreaming about that. Do you want to be stronger? Right? Do you want to have bigger muscles? Do you want to just be able to lift heavier things? Do you play sports? Do you want to perform better in those sports? Do you want to lose some fat? You want to look better? What about energy? Do you want to feel more energy? Do you want to have more endurance so that you can, run longer, work longer, walk longer, all of those things? Start to get a vision in your mind of exactly what you want for yourself physically. What kind of physical body, fitness and health do you want to create in 2019? And again, just dream, okay? Don't think about realistic right now. Don't try to be realistic. Don't be careful. Dream big. Let your imagination go. If you want to imagine looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 1980s, just go ahead, do it. Just let yourself dream big right now. Later you can think about being realistic and be more specific. But right now, just dream. Just dream and enjoy it. And how do you know you're doing it well? It's when you get excited, right? Keep dreaming and imagining until you get that feeling of enthusiasm and excitement. Like, yes, this is really what I want for me and for my life. This is what I want to create. Next step, financial. Next area of your life, financial. Think about and dream, again, most importantly, dream about your dream financial life. And this is connected to time. We're really talking about time and money. Time and money, because in our economy now, they're both connected, right? If you have a lot of money, then you have more free time, usually. But you got to think about both. Because if you just want money, and you want to buy a lot of stuff, and maybe you really like expensive things, that's okay. But you're going to need, a certain kind of life for that. But maybe you love working. Some people are workaholics. They just love working. They love, not just for the money, they just love the excitement of it. They like the energy. They like the problem solving. We have an idiom we call these type A personality, type A. And this just means they're super motivated. As people, it's like most of the billionaires, the people who run companies. Steve Jobs was a type A, right? He just worked, and he loved it. He didn't have to. He was already super rich, but he loved that work. You couldn't stop him. Donald Trump is like that. He just works all the time. But he loves it. It's like a game to him. It was like a game to Steve Jobs. Other people, like me, are the opposite. Really like to have a slower, more relaxed life. Like to have a lot of time to go slowly and read and think and meditate, things like that. And don't like to work a lot. Don't like to be super busy. There's not a right answer. There's not a wrong answer. It's just you. It's what kind of life do you want? So you just need to imagine this. So imagine it, when you're thinking about this financial area, you've got to think of both of those. Number one, the time part. Work. Do you want to be busy, go? Do you like that excitement, that energy of it? Or do you want to be nice and slow and relaxed, or something kind of in the middle, but get a clear vision for that? What excites you? What would be your dream day in terms of your time? How much of it would you be working and going, and how much of it would just be slow and relaxed? How much of it would be with your family? How much of it would be in your job or your business? Just get a clear idea about it. Really dream, figure out for yourself what would be your dream. What would be fantastic? Maybe you have it already. Maybe you don't. I don't know. But just dream and imagine it, again, very big and clearly, and get that emotional energy as you imagine it. And then the other side of this financial part is the actual money. What kind of things, that require money do you want? What kind of things and experiences? For example, travel. Do you want to travel? Do you want to travel around the world? What kind of travel do you want to do? Some people like luxury travel. They want to stay in 5-star hotels and eat at Michelin-starred restaurants. Other people want to backpack around and stay in really cheap hostels. So again, get that vision for yourself. What kind of home do you want? Some people are happy in something very small and simple. Others want something, more big and luxurious. Some people want to be in a condo in a tall building, and others want to be out in the country in a large house, and others in something very small. So it's up to you. This is your life, so dream. Just dream. What is your dream home? What would it look like? Where would it be? And of course, all the other things in life. Maybe you have hobbies, the types of clothes that you want, all of those things. It doesn't always, all your goals don't have to be deep. This is more shallow stuff, but it's okay. Just dream. Right now, you're just dreaming and imagining. So imagine that financial life. What does financial freedom look like to you? What does it sound like? How does it feel? Dream and get a nice clear vision of that. You need the vision to create it, right? First, you have to create it mentally. You've got to get a nice clear mental creation. Then you build it in the outside world. Just like a house, right? If you're going to build a house or if you're going to build a nice tall building, well, first you have to mentally build it. You have to build it in your mind, see it clearly, then, make nice plans on paper, right? You've got to create that mentally first before you start building it in the real world. It's the same with your goals, with your dreams. So your financial life. Your social life, family life. Again, dream. What kind of relationship do you want? Husband, wife, marriage? If you're single, what would your, dream marriage be like? How would you feel? How would you act? How would you communicate? What kind of person would they be? What kind of person would you be when you're with them? Family, do you imagine a big family with lots and lots of kids, just a couple of kids, no kids? Again, dream that and imagine it and create it in your mind. The nice thing about imagination is you can play with it. You can play around with it. You can imagine yourself with 10 kids. What would that be like? What would it be like with 5 kids? What would it be like with 1 kid? Right? You can sort of play around in your mind and just see how it feels. What does it look like and sound like? And you're playing around and creating in your mind until you find that picture, that dream that makes you the most enthusiastic, the most excited, that feels best to you. That's how you find it. So again, that's why right now in this step that we're doing today, I just want you to play around. I want you to be playful. I want you to have fun with it. I want you to dream really big. Do not be realistic. Okay? You might think of some crazy stuff. Just play. It's okay. Be crazy. Be like a kid. Be like a little kid, just imagining. That's how I want you to do it. And, in your social life, in addition to, relationships, family, you can also do this, of course, with friendships and other parts of your social life. Just dream and have fun with it. And then finally, of course, because you're listening to Effortless English, the Effortless English show, you gotta dream about English. And I want you, again, to be enthusiastic and dream big about your goals, about your vision for your English ability, your English skill, your English speaking. Do you want to sound like a native speaker? That means you're fluent, right? The words come out effortlessly. That means you understand easily. Your listening ability is excellent. And it also means your pronunciation is excellent. You need all of those to sound like a native speaker. So just imagine it, sort of in your mind, play around, picture yourself speaking English to Americans, to Canadians, or whomever. And, imagine yourself, see yourself looking confident and hear yourself speaking fluently and sounding like a native speaker. And see the faces of the people you're talking to. And they understand you. They're enjoying you while you speak. Create that big, powerful dream that feels great. This is also important for your English. You gotta, see the big dream that you want, that big vision. And really imagine it and create that powerful emotional energy about it so that you really feel excited about it. You're very inspired about this goal. You can also imagine with your English how you will use it. How will it make your life happier, more enjoyable, more free, more interesting? Some people focus on English for travel. They want to travel and they want to make friends with people around the world. It's just a great way to connect with the whole world. So imagine yourself doing that and using English as you do it. Now, others focus on English more for job and money and financial. That's okay, too. So just imagine yourself, giving speeches at your job or at conferences and seminars in English and making more money and getting better jobs and having a better career because you're using English. Again, you got to see it and hear it and feel it to make it real. Create it in your mind first. And there are some people who just love the language. Some people just love the English language. They just love it. I don't, who knows why, but there's just something about it. They just love the sound of it. They like the feeling of it. They like the culture of, American or Canadian culture or British culture or whatever. And then there are some people who just love languages in general. Those are the people like Steve Kaufman who learn, 8, 10, 12 or more foreign languages. They just love the process of learning languages. Some people are like that. That's fine too. Just imagine yourself doing that. So it doesn't matter. And then, of course, others it's just English only, and they have practical reasons like travel, like making friends, like career or jobs or school or something like that. There's not a right answer. There's not a wrong answer. It's just what makes you excited, what makes you enthusiastic, what inspires you. You've got to create those images, create those sounds, create those feelings, because that gives you the power, the energy that you need to make it real. Because you have to make those daily efforts. You got every day you listen to the VIP lessons or the pronunciation course lessons or Power English or whatever. And each day you need a little bit of motivation and effort to do that for an hour or 2 hours or more. To read books in English. Again, you need some energy, some inspiration, some motivation. To talk to people, to get on social media and say hi to me on Gab or Twitter. Anything like that. It requires some effort and commitment every day. So you need energy for that. You need energy. This is how you create the energy with those big, powerful, exciting dreams. Excitement is emotional energy. Enthusiasm is emotional energy. That's your gasoline. That's your fuel that you will use then daily and weekly and monthly and annually to train, to practice, to improve your English. And of course, it's true for anything. This is exactly the same for exercise. If you decided I need to lose 20 kilos and I want to run a marathon, well, guess what? That requires effort. Every day you have to train, right? Every day you're going to have to get up, go outside and run, jog. And some days it's going to be cold. Some days it's going to be really hot. Some days you're going to feel tired, maybe a lot of days. So you will need motivation and energy to do that each day, right? If you're starting now and you're 20 kilos overweight and you have not been exercising, you've been lazy, and you want to run 26 miles, do a marathon race, you're not going to do that in one day. You probably need, to be safe, I would say, you'd need probably about 5 months to train for that. And that's 5 months of effort every single day. That requires some energy, some motivation. Where do you get it? Again, you get it from this dream. You get it from making that dream exciting, that enthusiasm. It's the emotional energy that will help you make that effort, that will give you that motivation. So when you feeling a little tired, you remember that big dream, and you're like, I don't care. I'm going to go run today. You're feeling a little tired or unmotivated. You remember that big dream, and you listen to the VIP lessons anyway. That's the purpose of this. It creates that big power that keeps you going and taking action. Because it's always about the action, right? Without action, nothing happens. This is the first step, but it is very important. And you have to make it as powerful as possible, and you do that by making that emotion as strong as possible. Okay, the last thing I want to mention as you do this, a few just things to not do. I already mentioned a couple. Number one, no judgments about your dreams, okay? Don't judge them right now. So as you start dreaming about, let's say, your physical body, and maybe right now you're fat and weak, and you look terrible physically. Maybe that's the truth. It's okay, right? It happens, right? We all make mistakes in life. So maybe that's the truth right now. And then you start dreaming, and you imagine yourself, looking like a professional athlete with very little fat, nice muscles, doesn't matter, man or woman, you've got this great looking body, and physically you're performing, you can run marathons, you can lift weights, you can swim, whatever. You have these amazing dream that is totally different than you right now. Probably there's some part of you, if you dream, you start having this dream, some part in your mind is going to say, oh, this is impossible. You can't do this. You're fat. You're lazy. You're weak. Oh, you're never going to look like this. You're never going to run a marathon. You know, those little negative thoughts, they might pop up. It's common for that to happen. Just push them aside. Ignore them. Okay. I don't want you to focus on that. Don't think, is this realistic? Don't think, is this, rational? Don't be rational at this step. Later, maybe. But this is the part where you just dream and you just let your emotions go crazy. You let your imagination have fun, okay? It's the same thing with English. If you're thinking, you imagine yourself speaking like a native speaker, but maybe right now your English, maybe it's not very good. Maybe your accent is super strong. Nobody can understand you. Maybe your listening's not very good, and you have this big dream, and then you start thinking, oh no, I can't do it. No. Forget the doubts, okay? Push the doubts aside. Don't think about realism. No doubts, no rational, no logical thinking for this step, for this part. This is all about dreaming big and having fun. Second thing, when you do this today, as you do this, don't think about how, okay? That's the next step. We will talk about that. But right now, I don't want you to think about how will you do it. Because again, that will get you thinking of negatively, possibly. It might make you doubt yourself. It makes you start thinking, getting worried. It's no fun, right? It takes the emotional energy out of it. So I want you to keep that emotional energy powerful and just imagining and dreaming big right now. That's all you need to do for this step. That's all you need to do today. So don't think about how. If you think, I'm going to run an ultra marathon, 50 miles, great. Just imagine yourself doing it and get excited about it. That's all. You don't need to think about, which training plan should I use? When can I do this? How long until I can do this? Do I need to lift weights? Don't think that. That's all the how questions. How will I do it? Again, just push that aside. Don't worry about that now. And finally, the third thing, don't worry about priorities now. I've talked about priorities. Priorities are important. But for this step, the big dream step, where you're just creating this great energy, when you're creating this amazing vision for yourself, you don't need to choose what's more important. Okay, don't do that. You don't need to think, which more important, my financial life or my physical health or my English or whatever, right? My business. You don't need to choose number 1, number 2, number 3. Don't worry about that. Just create all these dreams, these great pictures, and it doesn't matter. You don't need to choose now which is more important, which is less important. You're not doing that with this step today. This is all about dreaming, all about having that energy, that playful energy, fun and excited energy, enthusiasm like a kid. As you do this, you should be smiling. It should make you feel good. If you're not smiling, if you don't feel good, you're doing it wrong. Okay? Change it. If you're having this great dream and imagining all of this and you're not feeling great, you're not smiling, it's not exciting you, then change it, because that's not a good dream. It needs to be bigger. It needs to be more fun. It needs to be more positive. That's how you know that you are getting closer to the right dream, is when that powerful enthusiasm, the feeling of excitement and enthusiasm comes up inside of you very strongly. When the idea of achieving this goal makes you feel just amazing. You're like, oh my God, yes, that would be so great. That'd be awesome. Yeah. And you get that big smile on your face, feeling fantastic. That's great. That's what you want.